And welcome back to the channel, guys. So today I'm going to be playing some games and I'm going to share with you some of the most important lessons I learned in 2024. So we're going to watch the points together, and I'm going to be commentating and just sharing with you some of my thoughts, what the things that I worked on, and what I think could be very valuable for just about any recreational players out there. So hope you enjoy. Don't forget to like and subscribe to support the channel, and let's get started. Alright, so lesson number 1 is actually going to be learned from these following 2 points, and that is, do not be result oriented. And what I mean by that is that in tennis, you can do the right thing and still lose the points. So you see here, he missed the overheads. And so it's easy to tell ourselves, well, I don't want to come in anymore because he's going to give me another lob and then I'm going to miss the overhead. No, that was a really good approach shot and I hit a really good defensive lob, but I'm not going to be able to do that every time. If you're not confident with your overheads, then go back to the practice court and practice your overheads. But you want to make sure that you come in every chance you get. And so this is the very next point, and he's going to hit the exact same approach shot right here. And sure enough, I'm not able to hit a good lob. So this is a very similar situation. He hits the almost the same approach shot, and I'm not able to hit a good lob. So he wins the points, and he doesn't even need to hit the overheads. So lesson number 1, do not be result oriented. In tennis, we can do the right thing and still lose the points. Good serve. Some really good backhand down the middle, not opening up any angles. I like the attack here, but my forehand was a little bit too flat. So great return, very deep. Oops, missed that backhand. So I want you to pay attention to Matt's body reaction here. See, he missed a pretty easy shot, and he's not really overreacting or anything, but he just moved on and refocused on the next point. And I think that's a very good way of handling these situations, because we all missed very easy shots, even the pros do. But at the end of the day, that is not only just 1 point, but it's a point that you lost and that you cannot get back. And so there is no need to dwell on this point for too long and accept the fact that we all miss easy shots. And so forget it, refocus your mind, and move on to the next point. Alright, lesson number 2 is coming from this point, and that is, make your opponent hit a difficult volley instead of you hitting a difficult passing shot. And so you see here, Matt actually has a difficult passing shot to hit because it's very low, and he is pretty far behind the baseline. And so instead of trying to pass me, he's actually gonna hit that ball right into my feet and force me to hit a difficult volley. Now, from lesson number 1, do not be result oriented. Do not look at this point and say, whoa, Sandretto hits super good volleys, so whenever he comes to the net, I'm gonna try to pass him or lob him. No. This was actually a very difficult volley to make, and chances are if we do that, if we replay that point 10 times over, I'm probably gonna hit maybe 2 of those, and then the rest I'm gonna miss, or you're gonna have an easy floater. And so lesson number 2 really is, if you have a difficult passing shot to hit, if you have an easy one, then by all means go ahead and pass your opponent. But if you have a difficult one, it's a lot easier to actually hit it right back to your opponent's feet. It's a much bigger target, much more margin for error, and you force your opponent to hit a volley. Maybe your opponent is going to miss the volley. Maybe your opponent is going to hit a floater, and you're going to have a much easier volley to hit on the second shot. very nice approach. Very nice approach, and he's now 2 for 1 on the approach overhead pattern. Very nice. Oh yeah. Oh, it's a great lob. Alright, lesson number 3. Approach shots are not winners. See? Approach shots are all about taking advantage of your position and put pressure on your opponents. And so you see, when Matt hit an approach shot, actually that ball landed right around the service line. But that was more than enough to put enough pressure on me to force me to hit a passing shot. And oftentimes, I'm gonna miss it, or he's gonna hit an easy put away. And in the very next point, I get to hit an approach shot that lands right past the service line, but he ends up winning the points. And that ties back to lesson number 1, do not be result oriented. There was nothing wrong with my approach shots. Maybe some of you are gonna say, well, just do the same thing but go to the backhand. And I definitely do, just not every single time. Sometimes I go to the backhand, sometimes I go to the forehand. But you see, the quality of his shots was just so good that if it really takes that good of a shot to win the points, then I wouldn't mind doing that over and over again. So that was a great approach shot. That was an even better passing shot. Just give credit to your opponent and move on. So lesson number 3, approach shots are not winners. Approach shots are safe margin. Be aggressive, hit hard, but don't hit to the line, and use your aggressive court positioning to put more pressure on your opponents. And before we move on, if you find this content useful or just even entertaining and would like to see more, I would love it if you guys could like this video and subscribe to the channel, because it really helps the channel grow and really motivates me to keep making content for you guys. So thank you so much, and let's continue. Very nice serve. Yeah, it was a little bit too close here to the ball. It needs to hit that ball with a little bit more spin and height over the net. Lesson number 4, learn how to serve and volley, and do it from time to time on the ad side, especially if you play a righty. And so what that does is surprise your opponent when he's about to hit a backhand return. And for most of us, backhand returns are harder to hit than forehand returns. And so basically you're gonna surprise your opponent right when he's in the middle of hitting a difficult shot. And so that may cause your opponent to change his mind at the last second and actually miss the return, or just hit the return right down the middle, just like you normally would, and it's gonna give you an easy put away to the open courts. Another great benefit of it is since you're doing that on the ad side, we usually play a lot more pressure points on the ad side and the do side. And so, for example, at 40-30 or 30-40, 30-40, your opponent really wants to win that game, trying to break you. And so when you serve and volley, it really forces your opponent to do something a little bit more with a return, other than just, returning and setting up the point. And so it really gives you the advantage of adding extra pressure on top of your serve, and give yourself even more chances to stay in the game. So lesson number 4, learn how to serve and volley, and do it from time to time, especially on the ad side. And this actually leads me to lesson number 5, and that is, in tennis, execution is more important than strategy. Let me say that again. Execution is more important than strategy. It doesn't matter what your strategy is, even if you have the greatest strategy, if you know exactly what to do to beat your opponent, if you cannot execute in a shot, you're not gonna win. And the reason why I'm saying this is because I just talked about serve and volley, right? But if you don't actually work on your serve and volley at practice, I would actually advise against it during an actual match. Why? Because even if it is the right thing to do, if you're not used to doing it, it's gonna put you in a very uncomfortable position, and you're gonna more likely gonna miss. So see here, I serve and volley, and I miss it. It wasn't a very hard volley to make, but because I don't do it very often, the execution is really not optimal. And so that's why I practice serve and volley here, so that I feel more confident doing it in an actual match. Oh, this particular point actually tied to lesson number 2. Don't try to hit the very difficult passing shots, but hit it right back into his feet. Because you see here, I actually get a volley, but a floating volley, and then I get a much easier passing shot to hit. So instead of going for the very hard one here down the line when I'm completely out of position, just hit it right back into his feet. Big margin, big target, come in and pass on the second try. Much easier than on the first try. Alright, so back to lesson number 5, right? Execution is more important than strategy. And so if you play a match and you see your opponent do something that you can potentially take advantage of, but you're just not comfortable doing it, it's just not gonna happen, guys. That's just what it is. There's enough pressure in a match, and we're really trying to make the most out of our strengths, and so the more prepared we are facing different kinds of scenarios, different kinds of opponents, the more likely we're gonna implement those strategies well. So that is it. Those are the 5 lessons, most important lessons that I learned in 2024. Please let me know in the comment sections what you think about them, or if you have any other important lessons that you would like to share with me or the tennis community. Always excited to learn more about tennis and just to improve in general. I do my best to answer all of your comments in a timely manner. Thank you, Matt, for hitting this beautiful backhand down the line. Let's see it again because it's so beautiful, and maybe one more time. Yes. Alright, yes. So thank you so much for all the comments. I really do my best to answer all of them in a timely manner. They really do help me improve my game, and also help me know what kind of content you guys would like on this channel. And I just really enjoy interacting with the tennis community and all of you guys. So thank you so much. Thank you for supporting the channel. Thank you for watching the video, and I will see you on the next one.